What's up, everyone? We are back after a break for a week from UFC. Hope everyone had a great Easter. If you didn't celebrate, just hope you had a great week in general last week. Back at it after UFC, what was it? 314, 350? I don't even remember the number. But with Volk versus Diego, we went 10-3 on predictions for that card. Excellente on those predictions. Got the entire main card correct. Watched Bryce Mitchell get choked out unconscious. The irony was beautiful. Predicted the Paddy Pimblett KO. Let's go TKO. So now Michael Chandler has been KO'd by Oliveira, subbed by Dustin Poirier, beaten by decision by Justin Gaethje, and then TKO'd by Paddy Pimblett. The most meme record to the way you lost to all those people. And I couldn't be happier with the results from the last card. So we're going to try and continue that on this week. We got a pretty decent fight night card, actually. I like this main event. Both these guys are a good matchup for one another. Long strikers. Garry more on the footwork on the outside. Prates more so kind of using intelligent pressure to move forward on his opponents. Probably could have a grappling opening that Garry could take advantage of. But let's start from the beginning, shall we? First up, we got Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. Chelsea Chandler, the legendary fighter who famously ran away from Norma Dumont, turned her back completely in the middle of a fight. Going against Jocelyn Edwards, more so known as a striker. This one's a kind of a tough one to predict for two reasons. One, because Chelsea Chandler, I think, is going to be the bigger opponent in terms of weight. She might even come in overweight for this one because she fought Norma Dumont at 145. But then you got Jocelyn Edwards over here, who's got the youth advantage, got a little bit of the reach advantage here. But both these ladies have trouble making that 135-pound weight. And Jocelyn Edwards actually coming back with a rear naked choke in her most recent fight. Chelsea Chandler, on the other hand, having a bit of a struggle in her last three. Missing weight in her last two. Beating Josiane Nunes, which not really going to rate that much now after watching Cachoeira knock out Josiane Nunes. Yeah, that was a rough one for her. And then losing by decision to Norma Dumont before that. So I'm actually going to go with Jocelyn Edwards. I think she's made enough improvements in the grappling to not get stalled along the fence by Chelsea Chandler, although Chelsea may have the strength advantage a little bit here. I think Jocelyn Edwards is just going to have, everything she needs to win this one. All right, I think this is going to be not an easy one maybe. I think she could get, grappled a little bit in the first round, but I think over time she'll just get the decision win, or Chelsea Chandler will make a mistake, and Jocelyn could lock up a sub if Chelsea Chandler's a little reckless, so we'll see. But this one isn't one I'm too confident on. These are both 50-50 fighters, in my opinion, in terms of their UFC stints. In fact, let me actually check that stat. So Jocelyn Edwards, 5-4 in the UFC, and then Chelsea Chandler, 4-1 actually. Wait, what? I was looking at the wrong one. 2-2. So yeah, that's how I feel. Timmy Cuamba versus Roberto Romero. Another kind of tough one to predict, and the odds are spot on for this one. Both guys, primarily strikers. Timmy Cuamba got the speed advantage here. Doesn't really throw as much in combinations, but the speed and the way he can bring back his kicks, after he throws that kick, the thing is retracted right back, and he's back to keeping distance. Not as much power, though. Definitely not. Roberto Romero, on the other hand, dropping David Onama in his last fight. That was a really good fight, and where David Onama came back and dropped Roberto Romero in that same round at the very end. I do think Roberto Romero is going to win this fight. I think that the forward pressure is going to be a little too much for Timmy Cuamba, and then when Roberto Romero lands, I don't think Timmy Cuamba is going to react as well as David Onama did. And I do think Roberto will land. He likes to throw combinations, good boxing, and he's got good calf kicks. He was landing insane calf kicks on David Onama. I'm surprised they didn't hinder Onama's movement as much as they should have. And with Cuamba, that's kind of his thing. He needs that movement. And I think Romero's going to cripple that. I think he's going to even get a finish here, possibly. What kind of I can't remember. How many knockouts does Romero have? Yeah. So decent amount. So I think he could get it here, though. So that's what I'm predicting for that one. Next, we got Jacqueline Amorim versus Polyana Viana. Yeah, Polyana Viana. She's a great TikTok fighter. Nah, I'm kidding. That's super mean. But we know why. Okay. 4-6 in the UFC. Most recently lost to Jillian Robertson and Yasmin Lucindo by submission. Going against Jacqueline Amorim, who does have good grappling. All right. Look at all these subs. This is not good. This is not a good matchup for Polyana Viana. I think Jacqueline Amorim is going to wrestle her up against the fence. Could be boring. Who knows? Maybe there might not be a submission. But I just don't see Polyana Viana taking this as seriously as she should have. In terms of stats, we got 5'5", 67-inch reach, 5'3", 68-inch reach. So we're not even looking at too big of a difference in that. And Amorim is also the younger fighter. I'm not liking any of this for Polyana Viana. Yeah, this is easily Jacqueline Amorim. I think this is one of the easier predictions on the card, even though Viana actually definitely has more of a, I guess you can call it star power. I don't even like to call it that. Next, we got Cameron Saaiman making his return against Malcolm Wellmaker, making his UFC debut. I am trying to remember correctly. Yeah, after his win on the Contender Series against Adam Bramhold, who was more experienced than Cameron Saaiman. Cameron Saaiman most recently taking that loss to Peyton Talbot. It was a tough loss, too. He got hurt bad multiple times and got outclassed in all levels. And I think we just, being a bantamweight at Cameron Saaiman's height with a 67-inch reach, dude, and Cameron Saaiman doesn't even have that crazy knockout power. I don't like being mean to people for their size. I don't like doing that, but homie really does look like he has T-Rex arms out there. He really does. Not good. Whereas Malcolm Wellmaker, 71.5-inch reach at 5'10". It's like he's facing the same build all over again. I think Peyton Talbot may be almost that exact same build. Yeah, literally. Even worse in the situation for the reach, where Malcolm's got another 1.5 inches, and Cameron Saaiman, he charges in recklessly. Really recklessly. And I don't think the grappling is going to help him here. I think, sadly, we're going to see Cameron Saaiman take a third loss in a row. Yeah, that's not good. It's not good for Cameron Saaiman. I just don't think bantamweight's for him. I really think he needs to figure out a way to get to 125. He really need. 5'8". That's still not easy to make that 125 weight. It's just not. It's not ideal. It's not ideal at all for Cameron Saaiman at all. I don't like picking against him because I like his personality. I think he's cool. He's entertaining even. I think he's active as hell during his fights too, but there's too many things against him in this fight. What are the odds for this? What do they got? Yeah, near, which it should be. It should be close odds. Cameron Saaiman's gone against some really good competition at this point, so I just don't think nothing matches up for him here. It's rough, but I think it's true. Next, we got Damon Blackshear versus Alatengheili. Damon coming off that coming back really soon after his win over Cody Gibson. Just a little over a month. Mr. Damon Blackshear. This is what I like to see. He's trying to get back into that top 15. I can't remember if he was in it at any point. I think he was about this close to getting it after he had a crazy fight. Oh yeah, it was an insane. I think the crazy fight was either with Basharat or with Batista, where they were going hardcore back and forth. Can't remember which one it was though, but I think Damon Blackshear's got this. He's got a huge advantage in the line here, and It's like what I was saying about Cameron Saaiman. Put that like times 10 for this one. And that's why like these are flyweight stats, my dude. You cannot walk into bantamweight at 5'5" with a 66.5-inch reach. Brother, no. What was Demetrius Johnson's I hate to go off track here, but Demetrius Johnson was at bantamweight for a few fights there. He's 5'3" and 66-inch reach. This dude has only 2 more inches of height. I just want you to realize that. That's insane. Yeah, Damon Blackshear is gonna wrestle him. He's gonna be way bigger, is stronger. I think this is one of the easier predictions on the card. And he's also been active. He's been active. The fact he feels so confident to come back a month later against Alateng. In fact, how long did that first fight last? Went into the late second round, bro. Like, he went like 2 rounds and was fine. So, Damon Blackshear by submission, in my opinion. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castañeda. Not a good matchup for John Castañeda here. I think, will the odds reflect that? Near even is crazy to me. I think Gutierrez has... Oh, yeah, this was rescheduled. I was picking Gutierrez before this. I can't remember if he was on my prediction video before it got canceled. But yeah, Gutierrez is going to light him up with these leg kicks. John Castañeda uses a ton of movement. A ton of movement. Now, Castañeda, he will need to use that speed to get inside Chris Gutierrez. Pause. He will need to use it to get on the inside. Because Gutierrez is just going to stay at range, bro. Because Gutierrez, although he has the 60... Now, if you are going to be a bantamweight with a short-ass reach, you better be a kicker. And he's 5'9" too, so that's going to help him. It's going to be all about the kicks for Chris Gutierrez. Now, although Chris Gutierrez, he has some lackluster performances here and there, he's very aware of his abilities and like what he needs to use during fights and what he has available to him. That's why you see him use leg kicks so much and why they're so effective, because he can't reach a lot of these guys, you know. And this is, I think, a really good matchup for him. Although Castañeda has the tools, I just don't. From what I've seen and experienced in the past, he's not going to be able to have that forward pressure and that ability to get inside that's going to make Gutierrez, feel like he needs to sweat it all. I think he's going to really, really hurt Castañeda's legs in that first round, and he's going to slowly take over. And it's going to be, I think, a point decision win. I don't think Gutierrez is going to go for a finish aggressively, which is probably going to help him, if anything. All right, because Castañeda, when he's using all this footwork, he's going to have to be that, and he's going around the outside on Gutierrez. He's going to be the one that has to initiate, because Gutierrez is going to be keeping him at distance with kicks. He's not going to be throwing. He might throw a jab, he might throw straight to the body. I don't think Gutierrez is going to punch that much. It's definitely going to be mostly kicks. It's going to be catching Castañeda when he's circling to either side and catching that leg. That's what I'm thinking for this one. So Gutierrez by decision. Next one is actually, I think, one of the tougher predictions on the card. Evan Elder versus Gage Young. Evan Elder with a wild fight against Darius Flowers, I think his name is. The guy with the great, I think it's a Gracie tattoo. Some jiu-jitsu tattoo. I forgot. The triangle that goes into like what looks like a G. I don't know. I can't remember what that shit is. I'm really bad about remembering gyms and shit. This thing. Yeah, those two had a crazy fight where it ended in Evan Elder's getting the choke. And he looked good in the striking. Defensively, maybe not like crazy head movement, but decent footwork, getting back in and out, and keeping his rear hand up whenever he's using his lead hand. He had a really good jab. I was very impressed by that. Gage Young, on the other hand, went against Contender Series, went against Quinlan Sao Kid, Australian fighter who's been doing, I think, pretty decent at this point. Homie, I think, has been killing it. And they had a really entertaining fight. Quinlan is super hard to go against. He's got great kicks, great front kicks. And this was at lightweight against a 6'0", 75-inch lightweight. That's tough. That's really tough. He's been on a tear. Went from the Eternal MMA belt to beating Gage Young to getting on Shulja out of there. In 20 seconds, he was that guy, yeah. The thing is, I think Mm, I think that Gage Young, I liked his striking a bit better than Evan Elder. I think he got inside more, which is what he's gonna need to do against Evan Elder, because he does. Evan Elder did look a little bit longer. Look, he did like to play more of that long range game, and kind of whenever someone's pressuring him, he doesn't meet that. He likes to back up and circle out. I think Gage Young is going to be able to get on the inside, throw combinations, and because I don't think Evan Elder's striking is as good as Salkid's. I don't think it is. And Evan Elder will try to grapple, but I think Gage Young's takedown defense, at least what I saw in the recent fight, was good. It was good. And I think Gage Young has knockout power as well. I think he does. Um, so I'm gonna go with Gage Young here. I'm gonna go with the guy who has good experience on Contender Series, and I think Quinlan Salkida. I think is a better fighter than Darius Flowers. Oh wait, I've been fucking up. These are different weight classes. What weight class is this at? Because Darius Flowers, I think, is that's a welterweight, isn't he? Oh yeah, I think he's a welterweight. Yeah, and then before that, was he? Oh, he was fighting at lightweight, so he went up for. Oh, is that gonna make me change? Is that really gonna make me change? No, no, because Gage Young, he's a lightweight. Darius Flowers is a welterweight, and then lightweights have better technique than welterweights. And yeah, I think Darius Flowers also just fights really unintelligently. Yeah, I'm going with Gage Young. I'm sticking with that one. This is my toughest one on the card, I think, though. This one's really tough. Next one I don't think is as tough, but is close in odds. Not close in odds, never mind. People got this right. Yeah, it's Matt Schnell. Absolutely. Matt Schnell. They both have a good grappling base. Jimmy Flick's got actually, I think, really impressive jiu-jitsu. I was a big fan of his arm triangle finish in the Contender Series. That made me start exploring a ton of different ways to finish arm triangles. I really like Jimmy Flick's jiu-jitsu. But Matt Schnell is going to be able to meet that. He's going to be able to meet that, and he's going to be able to meet it with better striking. And Schnell's a little chinny. Flick isn't going to be able to take advantage of that. I don't think Flick's got that kind of striking. I don't think he's got that kind of power. He's got less reach. So that's going to be rough. I think there's too many ways for Schnell to win. And Jimmy's biggest advantage being his grappling kind of nullified here because he's got great grappling as well. So this is a rough one for Flick. He originally left the UFC because he had financial troubles and needed to go back to a regular job. Realized like fighting was his passion, and he came back and I think because he needed money still. And I think he may have gotten like one win since his return. What was it? Like it's been rough. Yeah, like he got the Malcolm Gordon win, but after he beat Cody Durden, that's when he retired. And he came back, lost to Charles Johnson, lost to Alessandro Costa, beat Malcolm Gordon, and then lost to Nate Maness. And they are not doing him any favors in this matchup. They gave him Matt Schnell after losing. That's 3 in a row you're losing, and then you're getting Matt Schnell. Like, Matt Schnell is pretty decent. Like, that's going to be rough. So, yeah, I think Matt Schnell is going to win this one. Not sure how, though. Not sure how. That's my only thing is I'm not sure how he's going to win. Because he could finish Flick. But I think it'll be a decision. That's what I'm thinking. Could be a knockout even. How many knockouts Schnell got? Oh, not that many. I don't think he'll sub him. Yeah, I don't know. This is tough. This is a tough one. Maybe decision. Nah, decision. I'm being silly. Another fight. Moving on. Another fight on the card that originally was scheduled somewhere else. Got rescheduled to this card. Another one that was, in my opinion, easy to predict. It's Ikram Aliskerov. Muniz has been on the struggle bus as of late. And we cannot let, I can't even call it recent because it feels so long ago. We cannot let Robert Whittaker's win over Ikram, cloud us. All right, remember, Robert Whittaker, top 5 guy. All right, Ikram's not even ranked. All right, this is an unranked middleweight fight. So we got to look at it as that. All right, we're going to be thinking that same thing when we go to Abus next. All right, Ikram Aliskerov is better everywhere against André Muniz. I think he might be a little bit tougher than André Muniz. Muniz might be a little bit tougher than him. and he's got a little bit more experience. I think those are the two things that Muniz might have over Ikram. Ikram is better in the striking. He is better in the grappling. I struggle to find a way for Muniz to win. I think, oh God, I was really disgusted by one of Muniz's like recent losses. I was like, oh God. No offense. I mean, there's gonna be offense. Like he beat Jun Park, which is cool and sad because Jun Park is awesome. But lost to Paul Craig via ground and pound. Ew, brother, ew. But he's got good wins. Like before that, before the Brendan Allen Paul Craig loss, good wins. You know, not bad. But yeah, as of late, I am not like what I've been seeing like at all. I think he gets a little reckless. I think he leaves himself a little exposed. I think Ikram's gonna take advantage of that. Whereas Ikram on the other side, before the Robert Whittaker loss, a lot of canceled bouts. Worley Alves, sadly, retired. My boy Worley. Beat Glass Cannon Phil Hawes. And it sucks because we don't have a lot of go on for this. Gay got knocked out by Khamzat Chimaev with that crazy uppercut, that viral uppercut that everyone loves spamming for Khamzat. So it sucks a little bit because we don't have a lot of info in terms of competition to go off of for Ikram, but I feel like I've seen enough. And I think Ikram's got a few ways to win here. Next, we got a really good unranked welterweight matchup. I don't think Randy Brown has gotten his ranking back since the Bryan Battle loss. I don't think he's gotten it. And I don't think has he fought since Bryan Battle? I don't think so. No. Against Nicolas Dalby, the cardio machine. Nicolas Dalby finally getting knocked off his win streak against Hanat Fakretnov in a split decision. And Hanat, he had to grapple for his life throughout that fight. We figured out Hanat is not as good as we thought he was. We figured out that Hanat is really good at exposing guys who have bad grappling. But other than that, Hanat's not as good as we thought, sadly. Nicolas Dalby versus Randy Brown. This is a tough one. Intuition immediately, I think, oh, it's Randy Brown. It's Randy Brown. He's going to chin Nicolas Dalby. But it depends on how Nicolas Dalby comes into this fight. I think Randy Brown, at what age is he? I think he might even be 32, 34. And at a certain point, you do have to consider this. You do. I don't like doing that, but we are seeing more and more that you do have to consider this. When did Nicolas Dalby start training? When did he start this journey? 23 and 5. So he started fighting when he was 2010. Like, so it was 15 years ago. So it's not even like a 40-year-old who like got in when he was like 30. So his chin's like been, saved and all that. Nicolas Dalby's been training a long time, and I think Randy Brown is going to be the type of striker that's going to expose some of the mistakes that Nicolas Dalby makes, because everyone for a long time thought Nicolas Dalby is just kind of like a cardio guy. He just overwhelms people over time, and he manages to win these close decisions. Sometimes not close, but mostly decisions. But I don't think that's going to be how he can do Randy Brown. I think Randy Brown's going to be way too long, and he's not going to let him just recklessly enter without making him pay for it. That's how I feel. I think this is when we kind of see the Nicolas Dalby train like start to go, I think we'll see him win maybe his next one after this if they give him a decent matchup. But this is, do not get me wrong, this is Dalby's chance to get into the top 15. And if Dalby pulls this off, you got to give Dalby like a really, really good fight after that, because he's 40. I mean, and if he's probably dead set serious on actually trying to get a title. And if he beats Randy Brown, bro, get him really close to it. Get him somewhere super close if you can, because that would be hella impressive. I'm kind of rooting for Dalby because he does that weird breathing thing, that fucking weird ass breathing thing, where he is hardcore breathing. I think he just spat a loogie across the room. That was so intense. But I don't think that's gonna happen though. I think Randy Brown is gonna chin him. I think he will get a knockout. If not, he'll cause enough major damage to win a decision, and Dalby might wrestle him a decent bit. I don't think Randy Brown's gonna get TKO'd or nothing. He ain't gonna get caught like he did against JDM or nothing like that. So Randy Brown, I think, is gonna get a KO or decision. Maybe even a guillotine or a ninja choke if Dalby's like wrestling him up against the fence because Randy Brown's got those long arms, so those chokes are even more viable. Okay, so next we got Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. The battle of the, well, maybe not Abus. I think he kind of put that theory to rest in his last fight of his cardio. But seemingly, at least for the critique for both these guys, we got two dudes who are incredibly powerful and can finish fights, but the cardio is a question for both of these men. And after Michel Pereira's last fight, people dropped off that train so fast when they saw how badly his cardio crashed. Man, this is a tough one. Little bit surprised that Michel is the slight favorite, because if you look at the competition of middleweights he's beaten, they're not crazy. Like Michel Aleksejczyk, André Petrosky, Ihor Pereira, these are okay unranked middleweights. They're not the worst ones, but they're all super one-dimensional, in my opinion. These are all super one-dimensional guys. Anthony Hernandez, you could say he's one-dimensional too, but he's an MMA fighter. I think he uses everything. I think he does. Whereas André, he's more of like a pure, I feel like he's more of like a wrestler, grappler. Like Anthony Hernandez is really trying to implement ground and pound throughout, in my opinion. So, and the question is what is Abus gonna submit him? I mean, he did submit Bruno Ferreira, which was a pretty big win. That's an awesome win. And that's a tank of a guy to be walking forward on you. And he's only lost to Cal Bohio and Sean Strickland. This is a tough one. He's got the reach, I'm pretty sure. 70-inch, 78-inch reach, 73. Yeah, I'm going to go with Abus. I'm going to go with Abus. I like his striking way better. Although I think Michel Pereira is super explosive. He's going to try and like dart in with like hardcore straight punches. I think Abus is going to make him pay here. He's going to nail him with knees. He's going to nail him with front kicks to the body. He's going to drain that gas tank of Pereira. I think Abus is, as much as he can, fixed that gas tank problem. I don't think Michel Pereira has. I really don't. He's not the type of guy that seems to me that would fix that kind of problem. So that's how I feel. That's a little bit of a feeler one because both these guys are kind of similar in terms of what they bring to the table. But I think Abus Magomedov, so honestly, he's improved. He's improved a ton, and I've been impressed with that. So we're going with Abus here. Next, we got Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. Tough. This one's tough. Giga with the underdog. Oof. God, that's gotta hurt. So similar too. Similar in build, similar. Not so much in style. I am going to go with Giga Chikadze, though. Roberto Romero, the way he was lighting up David Onama with kicks. I don't think Giga Chikadze is way better at him. He kicks way harder. He's got better footwork. My only concern is Giga Chikadze doesn't have good head movement. I just don't see him moving his head a lot. Gotta keep his hands low sometimes, which worries me, but at this point, Giga Chikadze's been in some wars. He's 36, though. Oof. Lost to Arnold Allen most recently. Beat Alex Caceres before that. Lost to Calvin Kattar before that. God, it's just so hard to tell, man. I know Giga's also been dealing with a lot of injuries lately. Nah, I'm changing up. I'm going with Onama. I think it's his time. I think Giga's on the way out. I think Onama's on the way in. They give him this matchup because you see this sometimes with the UFC matchmakers. They'll match up guys who are not copies. Obviously, they're not copies, but who could be like that. Like in your top 15, you have like your amazing grappler. You have your Khamzat Chimaev, who is that all-star grappler. He's our staple guy in the top 15 who's that style. And you see that sometimes with matchmakers where they're like, they may see someone who's kind of maybe on their way out, which I'm not saying Giga is, but sometimes they'll make these matchups because they're compelling matchups because they're similar styles. And you'll get to see, all right, who is really the person who should represent this in our top 15. I think that's David Onama. I think it is David Onama. I think he's going to win. I like this fight against Roberto Romero. I think he showed a lot of toughness, a lot of ability to come back against adversity, man. It was a great fight. Yeah, I'm going with David Onama. I think he'll be able to take the kicks just like he did the Romero fight. He's going to catch Giga and overpressure him. Not overpressure him. He's going to pressure him a lot. I think it's going to make Giga very uncomfortable. That's how I feel about that one. So next we're moving on to You're Attacking My Family versus Mingyang Zhang. God, people were like, well, looks like this is Anthony Smith's funeral. And attend. Oh, it just sucks because you see he's 26 years old. He's like, oh, please don't make some stupid, dumb mistake because you're young and you're inexperienced and you're going to do something silly in the fight. Like, please don't. Just don't be a Vitor Petrino. Don't put your head in a fucking guillotine. That's all I'm fucking asking. That's all I am asking, Mingyang Zhang. Do not put your head in a guillotine. If Anthony Smith falls over, not even knocked down, if he falls over and he's like trying to invite you into his guard, get his ass back up. Do not ground and pound Anthony Smith. Just get him back up and finish him, okay? That is all I'm going to break down here, okay? Anthony Smith, I feel, has been checked out for a minute. And I know he's been through a lot of recent turmoil, and my thoughts are out to him. You know, that sucks. That sucks a lot. You know, all the shit he's been through recently. I'm not sorry for his shit with Michael Bisping, though. That seems kind of creepy. I never got not creepy, but that seems kind of fucked up. I haven't heard any updates from that story since it broke, how he just kind of Irish exited the Bisping podcast and then started his own. I didn't hear any updates from that. I don't know if that story is expanded anymore, but from what I heard and when it initially dropped, it sounded kind of fucked up. So, yeah. I don't know. Anthony Smith just had a lot of weird priorities in a lot of weird places. But it's his last retirement fight, so can you blame him? And that also being said, Mingyang Zhang, this is what he is focusing on fully. So, I'm going Mingyang Zhang by knockout. And Anthony Smith does not get a retirement package. He does not. Although he might. He's an ESPN correspondent. Not an ESPN correspondent. Well, I guess he is. A UFC. Are those guys hired by ESPN or UFC? I don't even know. But yeah, they'll give him a package, I think. They will, actually. Next, we got our main event in Machado Garry versus Carlos Prates. Legitimately tough matchup to predict, actually. Legitimately tough matchup to predict. Everyone's talking about Carlos Prates' cardio over 5 rounds. And then everyone's talking about how Garry can get hit on the feet. He has been hurt. He has been nailed. No pause. The biggest question for me is that grappling that Garry's been developing. Been developing a lot of jiu-jitsu. The back takes of Ian Garry are really good. He's got good back control, good back takes. Almost choked out Shavkat. Honestly, if he had more time, couldn't remember if that went out. That choke that he had in was as the clock was going out or not. Because if it was, I think he would have went on to finish Shavkat if he had more time in that position. But Shavkat does not have the one-punch finishing power that Carlos Prates has. Ian Garry also, he has his step back straight down the middle. But again, that's like a shot of someone coming into the straight. So their momentum is meeting the punch, which is ideal. That's what you want to happen. And that's what makes Ian Garry so good. But with Carlos Prates, the way he's finishing people is he is pushing on them and he is just dogging them. Dogging them in a very intelligent way. When I say dog, I mean he's just recklessly brawling them. But he puts forward pressure on like that Zach. I think it was Zach Reese, that knee. Like that straight followed by the knee on Zach Reese. Was that who it was? No. Charles Radke, excuse me. That was a silly thing for me to say. Charles Radke, that knee to the body, holy crap. That thing was amazing. I don't think that will be what happens to Ian Garry here, But Ian Garry's exposed to like the straight punches down the middle, especially to guys who are faster than him. And I think that from what we saw of him, Ian Garry getting knocked down in the who was that Asian dude? What was his name that he beat? But he got knocked down in the first round. Song Kanan. Yeah, that was a lead hook that Song Kanan landed. I think as either a lead hook or a rear hook, as Ian Garry was going in for the lead body hook, which is a dangerous shot to throw. He said it himself in the interview, I never throw that shot, but he did. And he got nailed for that one. Carlos Prates doesn't even need for that to happen. He's got the longer reach, okay? And he always has a long stance. So if he wants to get to a target, I think he's going to. I don't think Garry can just kind of use footwork on the outside. And then, I mean, if Garry's going to win, I think he's going to push Carlos Prates up against a fence. And he's going to grapple him. And he's going to try and take his back. That's how I think Ian Garry is going to try and win this fight. I don't think Carlos Prates is going to let him do that. I think Carlos Prates is good enough in enough areas, and he's faced like better grapplers maybe. Oh, that's just like, I think he probably trains with better grapplers. It's tough because where Garry, now he's at shoot the box, that makes things like way harder because his style is developing completely differently than what people thought it was going to go to. They thought he was always going to be this like slick counter striker, which he still is, but he's definitely leaning into the jiu-jitsu way more. That being said, though, I've seen Ian Garry get hit too much, and I think Carlos Prates is not the sniper you want to get hit by. I think Garry is exposed to shots down the middle. I really do. I think Carlos Prates is going to get this. It's who I'm rooting for, to be honest. Ian Garry is, man, his style isn't just like what I want it to be. I don't think he has good stats too. I think Ian Garry's got like short arms too. No, he doesn't. 74 and a half actually isn't that bad. I don't know why I thought his arms were shorter. Maybe it's because he's so tall. Maybe it's because he's so tall and his arms look shorter than me. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. That's silly. But yeah, and also the taller against a slightly shorter opponent with longer reach, that's usually not good. I think Volk, Max Holloway, I know I make that comparison a lot, and that's a little bit more of a dramatic height difference. But usually when a guy has longer reach and he can get under your shots, that's not good in my opinion. That is not good in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to go with Carlos Prates. I'm going with Carlos Prates. I think he's going to win this one. I think he may even knock out Ian Garry. Who knows? Who knows? That could be a silly one. I didn't do as much research as I would like to for this one, but let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment. Leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. All right. And let's say for the parlay for this card, let's go. Let's go Damon Blackshear for sure. Let's go Jacqueline Amorim. All right. Yeah, we're going to put a WMMA fighter on there. We're dangerous, baby. We're dangerous. To give a little bit more value, let's put Gutierrez on there. All right. We're going to put some value on that because it's a very close line. And Matt Schnell. Yeah, I think that's a good one. So you got Matt Schnell, you got Gutierrez, you got Damon Blackshear, and you got Jacqueline Amorim. I think those are good. All prelim ones too. Yeah, all these main card fights are pretty close, honestly. These are really good main. They did some damn good matchmaking for this one, I think. I think it's a great card. I think it's a great card for a fight night. Especially when you want to like start building all these guys. They like Onama, Zhang, Prates, Garry in the main event. That was incredibly smart. I think that's a super smart move to make those guys the main event. Abbas is still young, I think. 34, never mind. Out of these two guys, who do you think would be the oldest? The balding dude or Abbas? That's kind of crazy. Okay. All right. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think I got right, what I got wrong. And I will see you for some regional MMA. And maybe even the UFC card. All right. Peace.